So with the official reveal of the new characters for the Dragon Ball Legends 2-year anniversary, we have a ton to break down. Today's video, we're going to be talking about all of the things that are going to be happening with these characters, the way they're going to be impacting the teams they're going to be applicable to, and just shaking up the game's meta. We don't have the full-on details, so stay tuned for that when we actually get the literal download and the leaks of what the characters do through and through, and we'll talk about that more there, but stay tuned for that video. But speaking of which, if you guys have been under a rock this morning, they did reveal the characters that are coming out. We have an Omega Shenron, we have SS4 Goku, we have Rage Trunks, Fusion Zamasu, and then the last second reveal, the man himself, Vegito Blue, at the very end. By the way, if you guys want to see this all in its entirety, there's also some more stuff in here, like announcements of stuff coming out, like Challenge Rush, Shenron sleeves, campaigns, etc. Like, if you guys want to see this full thing, check it out. Link is down below. But I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned into the stream where I went over this stuff really quick. And also for everybody that didn't take the ending too serious, because there were people that obviously got a good laugh out of it. And then there were people like, oh, you're so effing stupid. And thank you so much if you weren't one of those people, right? I make mistakes like everybody else. Anyways, that being said, I'm happy that I caught it in the stream. Could you imagine if I didn't? Anyways, so that being said, let's go ahead and start out by talking about the man himself, Omega Shenron, first. So here's what they have to say about what Omega can do. All right, after we watch this video, we're going to see what they have to say about what Omega can do, and then we are going to go from there and talk about, again, the way he is going to impact his team. So that's actually after, I guess, so it's over here. Omega, here you are. So he's a red character, so that's important to note. Most important teams out of all those tags is GT, Regen, Fusion Warrior, and the sleeper candidate for an important team tag is Powerful Opponent. That is a brand new tag that does not have any Z ability buffers. Just for the record, I assume he and Zamasu are both going to buff it, just for the record. As one of their buffs for their Z abilities, I assume that's what they're doing. So they say he's a damage dealer excelling in both strike and blast. They don't mention if he's a melee or blast type, though, but he excels in both. Okay. Increases damage inflicted and reduces damage sustained by being on the field. He almost sounds like a defense type unit. Just by what they're saying here. This is normally the type of archetype for defense types. Inflicts multiple status ailments on arts cards hits. Increases allies' ultimate attack damage on his special move. Especially powerful on teams with multiple ultimate attacks. So he also... Okay, here's the deal. In the terms of GT... He's red, and SS4 Vegeta is the biggest loser in that discussion because he's also a red unit. Now, that's highly preliminary. I don't know if Omega will wind up actually being better. But one thing is that I was going to say is that he actually does something very, very similar. He buffs damage for, ultimates as well, and Vegeta also has an ultimate. So, in theory, they actually synergize very well. And maybe you just want to run red, red, green or something like that. I don't know, because there's also that green Goku we're going to talk about in a minute. But, on GT, that's an interesting discussion. We talk about Regen. Regen, they don't necessarily need another red, but they don't mind getting one either. Janemba's incredibly powerful. Kid Buu is, I think, a little underrated, but he's really good still. Some of these other guys can be useful in certain spots or whatever. But, they don't mind getting another red on this team, especially when that's just through and through one of their best units, right? So let's make that happen. I don't mind that. Especially because Regen's also getting another character, by the way. They're getting another character, too. Fusion Warrior. Fusion Warrior does not at all need another red. They just got Gotenks. Vegito is still incredibly valuable. Even if you don't have Gotenks as a fighter, Vegito is still very valuable. He's incredibly tanky. He brings a nice mix-up to the team if you don't have the highly offensive versions of some of these characters. But nonetheless, Vegito's Z ability is still incredibly powerful, so you definitely want to still find a way to mix him in on the team. And Fusions is starting to look a little convoluted. You're going to start kicking some of these characters that would otherwise be good off of your team, assuming you have all the options, right? Some of these units just don't have a spot, right? If you have all the options, right? That's the caveat. So there's that. I don't think he's going to really fit on this team, though. I think he's going to be a little bit of a dark sheep, almost like Super 17, like Fusion Warrior, Fusion 13, excuse me, Super 17, Fusion 13. They don't belong on this team, really. They can fit, but that's not their team, right? So I think that's going to be the same deal. Powerful opponent, sleeper candidate. So he does have the ability to get bonuses and damage and reduce damage by being on the field. He's going to be a character, it sounds like, that he gets buffs progressively for being on the field for a certain number of counts. There are a number of characters like that. One that comes to mind is Super Vegeta, Yellow Super Vegeta, obviously. The longer he's out there, he gets more blast attack and stuff like that. There are a lot of characters like that. Inflicts multiple status elements on arts card hits. This could be highly cancerous. Okay, he's going to be probably doing things like fainting on hits. Not fainting. Oh, hopefully not fainting. Paralysis, or like, more honestly, I think it's going to be bleed. I think bleed, because of the fact that they have Baby Vegeta who once bleeds, the green Baby Vegeta. I think it'll probably be bleeds and stuff like that. GT has a lot of like arts card stuff. Like, they have these dudes that do arts card effects, the SS4s, right? Baby Vegeta, if you want to run him, same type of deal. He has the arts card stuff. So they have a lot of characters like that, but there's only so many ailments he could actually inflict unless they introduce something new. And he also increases allies' ultimate attack damage, which is good for like SS4 Goku and stuff like that. Speaking of which, we have Super Full Power SS4 Goku. Yes, that is the actual name. Yes, Dokkan does the same thing. Yes, it's also in the subs as well for the Japanese Dragon Ball GT. So there's that. It's so convoluted, right? Super Full Power. Anyway, so yeah, he's going to be on Saiyans. He's going to be on GT and Sun Family. He's a green unit. Main damage is Blast Attack. He's a ranged fighter. That's actually really interesting. He might actually pair very well with SS4 Vegeta, especially because the color dichotomy, red and green, just fits well, right? When using blast attacks, gains multiple buffs. Okay, tell me more. Increases defense when paired with other Saiyan characters in the party. Heals when ultimate attack lands. He has an ult. They reveal that he has an ult. When he uses the ult, he heals a percentage of his HP, either a percentage of the damage or a percentage of the HP. Could you imagine if he heals a percentage of the damage? Oh my god. Actually, either way, it's going to be pretty crazy. He's going to heal a lot. See, like, the thing about GT is, like, they're enabled to play this way also, all because of Blue Super Baby 2. He enables this, like his healing and stuff. Like, you can do double SS4 Gokus and Baby and just heal for days, bro. With all of the healing these Gokus will have and stuff like that, it's gonna be crazy. Also, Baby Vegeta also is a Saiyan, so he fits into the increases defense mechanic this Goku has. Sounds like Goku probably wants to be on a specific team, which probably will wind up hindering his viability on like Sun Family in some instances, for example, if he really only wants to be with other Saiyans, because of the fact that Sun Family obviously does branch out into like hybrids, so as you guys know, right? So maybe that limits his viability there a little bit. But again, biggest winner is going to be GT. And also, don't sleep on Saiyan as a team as well. He's a green fighter. The only downside is Saiyans. I don't know why they're producing green fighters for this team. Like, if you look at this list of characters, where's their purple, right? Like, if you look at the list of characters that actually buff this team, where's their purple, right? There are purples you can pull, like SS4, Vegito. There's some good purples, obviously, but where's their buffing purple, modern buffing purple? All these units are old. And, like, if you look at the grouping here, they don't necessarily need another green. They've got LF SS3, they've got SS Goku, they've got Raditz, they've got Baby Vegeta. And the funny thing is, this top row of green units are all decently common, or decently new, especially Raditz and Baby Vegeta. So I guess they don't feel like any of these units are needed or necessary. I don't necessarily mind it, but I know Ryuden is crying. I know he's upset. But nonetheless, though, I'm excited about that. And if we look at Sun Family, regardless of what I was saying, they did need another green. Sun Family literally needed another green. Until Ultimate Gohan gets Zenkai, they needed another green. It's just the reality, right? Their team was so wonky when it came to applying a green unit to the team, because if you do some of the existing options, it just becomes a Saiyan team, for example, if you do some of this stuff. Or if you put, like, Gohan on, he's only buffing, like, hybrids in future. It's just, they want to have it across the board. But what I will say is, Sun Family kind of started switching to more of a melee team, and if this Goku holds, like, double blasts, for example, that's not going to be good for Sun Family. They don't necessarily want that in their melee variation. In their blast variation, where you go back to last year type deal and you use LF Goten or LF Gohan, these blast options, then sure. But recently, they've shifted to being more of a melee-based team, and that's their best comp. So we'll see what happens with this Goku, though. Increases HP and defense. He's going to be a very good unit. Balanced and built for a comeback. I wonder if he has last man stand buffs. That'd be interesting. I almost imagine he doesn't because of the unique for increasing defense, but we'll see what happens. Let's see what they say about Rage Trunks. He is a yellow hybrid Saiyan, Super Saiyan, Future, and Vegeta family. Let me just say off the top, yellow is a very good color for him, for pretty much all of his teams. Also, they're saying Super Saiyan. I don't really know if that really matters that much. I mean, Super Saiyan's a super niche team. It's just for fun, I guess, with Bardock. Like, I'm not going to really talk about that. But if you really want to run that, that's actually a good color combo. Yellow and blue obviously works pretty well. Future, Vegeta Family, and Hybrids. Let's talk about those teams first. Vegeta Family needed a yellow. They needed one bad. Because every time I built this team, it was like, dude, where's their yellow? Right? We all thought we were going to get, like, the Sword Trunks instead of this Rage Trunks type deal. But, you know, the one with the sword. But, like, the Spirit Bomb sword or whatever, but like that doesn't really matter. As long as we got another yellow for this team, it's cool. And I'm hype about Trunks, by the way. That is so cool. And to have Rage Trunks. So we needed a yellow big time, especially one that buffs this team. Off the top, If he wants to buff double attack or strike attack and defense, that'll be cool. I assume he'll probably just do like a very powerful attack buff, like 35 or something percent to like double tags or whatever. But definitely not bad to get a yellow for this team. Also, if we look at hybrids, they didn't necessarily need a yellow because they have this Gohan, but they only really have one super competent yellow option. Future Gohan, it's okay if you really want to run that type of deal. Gotenks is kind of whatever, and the rest are whatever. But they only really have one super competent yellow option, which is the Gohan, which leads me to say that it doesn't really matter if they have two different options. Obviously, more options is better. And if you don't have Gohan or you don't like Gohan's playstyle, you don't want to run him for whatever reason, Trunks is your man. And he might even be better than Gohan anyway, right? So not a big deal. And then Future. Future's the last thing. Future's a fun one because they also could technically use another yellow. I've been running Future a little bit lately, and I've been enjoying using Perfect Cell with like Goku Black and Vegeta. That's been a really fun team for me. But they also have Goku Black Zenkai. But the funny thing about this is Goku Black Zenkai will wind up buffing that Trunks. So if Trunks is just a through and through better unit, you just want to, if you have Goku Black Zenkai at all, imagine having him Zenkai, some of you guys, right? If you have him, you want to run on the bench, right? So there's something like that you can run. But the thing about this team is they still kind of want a summonable blue, which leads me to my next point. In that video, they did announce that this Trunks will be getting a Zenkai. So I'm guessing he's going to be their blue fighter for the foreseeable future. Let's go ahead and jump back here. Reduces damage sustained when on the field and cover cut. So when he's out there, he gets damage cut, and then he also has a cover cut effect. His green card heals him. That's going to be nuts. He has good sustainability already, you could tell. Reduces character switch cooldown when opponent activates a Rising Rush. So he has an entirely unique ability. When the enemy uses the Rising Rush, he is going to reduce his sub count. If he drops it all the way to 0, do you know how disgusting that is? Even if he reduces it by like 5, if you manage it well, you'll be able to switch in immediately. The fact he does that is nuts. If this dude has endurance, he'll be like the best defensive unit in the game. If he has endurance. It's like not even funny. Increased effectiveness against God Ki and Regen. He has anti-God Ki and anti-Regen. A truly defensive character with a new Sword of Power. If, with a new Sword of Power, is like entirely new ability there with the Rising Rush, yes. If he has endurance, that is next level if this dude gets endurance. Like, that's, like, I can't quantify how powerful of a defensive unit is. Like I said, he will be the best defensive unit in the game if he has endurance. It's really just that simple. And in a game that's transitioned to being highly offensive lately with like Kefla and stuff, that is a very welcome sight. I am cool with that. I am very happy about that. And anti-God Ki and Regen, I assume neither of those buffs is going to be like super powerful. I assume it's going to be like 20% each. I don't think it's going to be much more than that, but that's cool. But really with him, it's going to be how is his damage, right? We need to see more uniques for his damage and see how he functions. So, anyways, here we go. We take a look at Fuse Zamasu. But again, last thing I want to say about him is Vegeta family, their style is beat him up. They want a defensive option. Basically, their most tanky unit is the LF Vegeta. He's in some spots, some of the other units can be pretty tanky too, but he's more or less their only real unit that has cut, right? Which is why, like, for example, this guy does a crap ton of damage, but he melts. He melts because he has no cut. So getting another option that has cut and also one that meshes color-wise with this dude is incredibly good. By the way, this dude getting Future was a dead giveaway that we were getting Vegito Blue stuff because he did not have this and they added it, and that was a dead giveaway. I said that all the way back in like, what, October? I don't think it was that long ago, but I said that when that happened a few months ago. Yeah, Vegito Blue shot to the top of the anniversary list when that happened. So we're going to get to Vegito in a minute. So let's go ahead and move on here to Zamasu. Purple, God Ki, he has a lot of good tags, as we imagined. God Ki, Future, Regen, Fused Warrior, and Powerful Opponent. Boy, that's a mouthful. He can be used on any of those teams and be good. The only thing that's going to really hamper him is if they decide to build him in a way where it's like, oh, if he has these types of allies on his team, like Future allies on his team, for example, right? I don't think it would be God Ki they build him like that for because most of the Zamasus, the Goku Blacks, Zamasu. Most of the Goku Blacks are not on God Ki, so I don't think they would do that type of thing with that, but it would probably be Future. But that would, again, heavily hinder him on other teams. But all those teams, that's a lot. Gains multiple buffs as the battle prolongs. Gains multiple buffs after the enemy attacks. Decreases enemy's ki and gains more buffs with his quirk skill. And pushes the enemy away when cover changing into strike cards. So he has a knockback on strike like LF Frieza. He gets multiple buffs as the battle prolongs. Sounds like as he gets a certain number of counts, not on the battlefield like one of the other units earlier, but like as the battle reaches a certain number of counts, he gets a certain number of buffs. Like I believe Purple S3 Goku and numerous other characters do this where, oh, once the battle reaches 60 counts, get all these buffs or whatever, right? And as long as they're non-cancelable, he's going to be set. He gains multiple buffs after the enemy attacks. That almost sounds to me like the mechanic that I believe Purple Goku Black introduced, where whenever he gets hit, he gets a damage buff for a certain number of counts. I think it's 50% or whatever. It's in here somewhere. Plus 50% of damage inflicted for 15 counts when the enemies attack. Yeah. Like, it sounds almost like that to me, which would make sense because he's also Goku Black, right? So that would be nuts. This dude seems like he's going to do a crap ton of damage. He seems to be the most offensive option on this list so far, right? Decreases the enemy's ki and gains more buffs with his green card, and he has a knockback. And if his knockback is coverable comboable into anything but a blue, that's nuts. Well, I guess green. If he has a green, nah, his green seems like it's just going to be a standstill one, not like a immobilization or anything crazy, right? Or a dash 4. It just seems like it's going to be a standstill. But if his green's comboable, that's going to be nuts too. Anyways, shows his true power the longer the battle lasts with his buffs. Yeah, he's going to have a crap ton of buffs. Now, unfortunately, they tell us literally nothing about the boy himself. They tell us literally nothing about Vegito Blue. So I'm left to infer what Vegito Blue will be good in terms of like what he does, right? I don't know in particular what he's going to do. That art is godly. But here's what I'm thinking, right? Let me pull up GT, Fusion Warrior, and another Vegito, in fact. He's going to have all these tags plus God Key. That's basically it. Oh, and Future. Future is, again, it was a dead giveaway that the Vegeta picked up Future, that Vegito was coming because he was going to have Future as well. So he's going to have Saiyan, he's going to have God Key, he's going to have Potara, Fusion Warrior, Future, and yeah. So the main teams are going to be Fusion Warrior, which, let's take a look at Fusion Warrior. They don't need another green. They have actually two pretty good options. They don't need another red, especially because they are technically getting Omega 2. They don't necessarily need this. Zamasu is purple, which is funny, because if Zamasu is purple, that means that, Vegito's spot might be in peril a little bit, which is interesting to see from the 1 year anniversary unit. I would normally think that he would be yellow, just because he's Vegito and Zamasu's purple, but they just dropped a yellow Vegito. There's no way they do that to this Vegito. I don't see that happening. But what I do see, and what Fusions needs the most, is the blue unit. If he is blue, you have a crazy trio of Vegito color as well. You have the yellow Vegito being covered by the blue Vegito Blue. That's funny. And he's blue, Vegito Blue. It makes sense. And then him being covered by purple Vegito. Like, that's a crazy color trio. It makes the most sense. They're going to, I imagine, do blue. That's also, is blue the only color not represented here? Hold on. I think blue also might be the only color that's literally not represented. We have purple. We have yellow. Yeah, I think he's blue, bro. I think he's blue. We have green Goku, red Zamasu, or red Omega. I think he's blue. But again, they might have other characters they're hiding, so we'll also have to see how that affects it. But, like, Fusion Warrior, if he's blue, oh my god. If he's other colors, he's still going to probably be the best option. But, like, it does hinder a little bit of what the team could be if you're forced to choose between two of your best options, right? Unless you want to run, like, a mono type, like, green, green, yellow type deal if he winds up being green, for example. God Key. God Key, funnily enough, I think this Goku's incredibly good. But they also don't hurt with getting another blue option, by the way. Especially because this Vegeta almost doesn't count most of the time. Well, half the time. So they wouldn't be upset with that either. Could they use other colors, like a yellow, for example? That would work, right? But I don't want to see yellow at all. I don't want to see that. Green, I don't want to see either. But blue, I think, is fine for this team as well. So that's pretty much it, everyone. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up. Like I said, check out the video down below. And thank you for everybody that wasn't a dick to me on that video. Have an awesome day, and I'll see all of you in the next one.